Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is Melissa with Build a Better Bakery, here to talk to you today about an important topic, saying no to the chaos of holiday baking season. That is going to be on a lot of people's minds as we start looking at the next months. It's currently September, so we have October, November, December to deal with. Lots happening for a lot of different bakers. So I want to make sure we cover three important chaos stopping pillars to look at as you are planning out the rest of the year, because I want you to be successful, but also keep your sanity, because I want you to stick around and continue baking and not throwing in the apron. Okay, so I want to talk about this today because it's just a super common issue and something we probably need to touch on now. Let me make sure we're good. So I want to talk about this today because it's just all right. Everything's good. I can see comments. I see Michelle. I see Shantae. Good to see you this morning. So happy you're here. I am assuming that you're a little worried about the holiday season chaos, just like I am. Every year, it's scary. It can be a lot, and I think that when some people show up, maybe their first year baking over the holiday season, they don't really know that it's going to happen. But for those of us that have been baking 2, 3, 4 years, for me, like 15 years, I know that it's just part of it. So that's why I want to talk about 3 things today to look at to try to help anyone out who's new or just wants to not do the chaos anymore. So if you are seeing this on the replay, always throw up your hashtag replay so that I know you've seen it. If you're here live, you can throw up your hashtag live, just like Shantae and Sarah have done here. That just lets me know you're here and you are alive and kicking and looking forward to the content today, because I know I sure am, as I always do every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right here in the group. Now, today is really more about giving you permission to say no, because sometimes in this culture, it's like grinding culture and side hustles and all of this, like work. And now I'm not saying the holidays are going to be slow. More than likely, they'll be probably one of the more busy parts of your year. And Q4, just overall, the last part of the year, usually creates some of the most income for bakers because there's just so much going on. There's so many opportunities. It's the gift giving season. It's the, get together season. So there's just a lot, and it can get out of hand really quickly. We're talking burnout, cussing, crying, sleeping on the floor in your bakery, wishing you could quit every single second you're working, throwing cupcakes across the room, getting extra therapy sessions because of bad customers, right? Like, it is the whole thing. And it can crush spirits. I've seen that. It's happened to me. I've seen it happen to the bakers in the elite program. I am trying to help alleviate that, but I realize it's common. It probably will leave you feeling drained for your personal life, and that also feels really bad. It comes with a lot of regret and guilt. And again, sometimes after the holiday season, there are bakers that decide they don't even want to do this anymore because it was too chaotic. So we need to do something about it. We want a sustainable business. We want people to be thriving because the world really needs more bakers that stick around and know what they're doing. A lot of times people start baking and they don't understand the ins and outs of it, and then they quit really quickly because it is hard if you don't have some of those pillars set up. So the good news is we can completely plan our way out of the chaos and set expectations that help pave the way for a healthier, more successful season. It is imperative that the planning happen in a logical manner, which I'm going to cover in the 3 pillars today, and happens before it becomes too overwhelming to even think about it. So that's why we're talking about it in September. And I personally like to sketch it out about mid-September, right about now when we're talking, at the very latest, because I don't want to get caught off guard. You could even do it a little bit earlier if you want to, maybe early September or even end of August, depending on how you like to look at your year. We just want to make sure all the options are still open to us. And that's why we're discussing this today. Okay. Hey, Kelsey, good to see you. If you guys have any questions today, let me know. If you have any thoughts about these pillars, if you feel like it's something you could do or couldn't do, let me know. Now, if you want to stay in the know about the lives, you can check the events in the group. You can send me a friend request, Melissa Fryer, on Facebook, and then I can invite you to each of them that I make every week. or you can hang out on the email list that we have. And that's where I send out the replay links, sometimes once a week, sometimes a couple times a month. And you'll get all those resources plus anything else that we have going on. You'll get that in your inbox. That's a good place to be too. All right, let's start with the first pillar of chaos control. Number one is check in with your emotional boundaries. Now, this is often not the first place that we start to think about how we're feeling and what we're going to do for planning your business. But if you have realized after having a really chaotic, maybe section of the year or part of your business cycle, that your emotional state during that can determine how you show up for the business and how successful you actually are. Because you have to be emotionally okay to help things move along and to fulfill the maybe the events you said you were going to go to or the products you said you were going to make. If you're emotionally chaotic, that can be really difficult to do. So in times of high stress, it really is important that the very first thing is giving yourself the dignity of acknowledging your emotions before committing to something that you might end up regretting, because nobody wants that. And if you're committing to something, the person on the other end might feel that from you too, even though it's not their fault. You chose to do something that you weren't really emotionally aligned with, and now you're here trying to do it, and they can tell you don't like it or you're not invested. And that's just kind of where businesses break down, especially if it's just you or maybe you and a couple other people. Your emotional state is very important. So at the core, you can really only do so much. And that's kind of, having the dignity and the permission to understand I'm just a human. I want to be really good at what I'm doing, but there's only so much that I can possibly do. I can hire people, I can get people to help me, but at the end of the day, I'm just a human. And I think sometimes that whole process of maybe not acknowledging our emotional human state makes us not value our time, right? We might think we're machines or something similar. But when you start valuing your time, your clients are going to value your time as well. So if they see you not valuing your time, they'll follow suit. So don't be afraid to show your clients that you do value your time and that's important to you. And you can do that in multiple ways, through boundaries, through minimums, through when you're open, when you're closed, when you answer messages, etc. Right? You can show them your boundaries pretty consistently through just your daily business practices. So here with this emotional state as the first part of planning, you do want to make sure that you're kind of thinking back into the past and taking note of how your emotions have played out over a similar situation. So if you have another holiday season to kind of think back on, let's say this is your first year and you haven't had this particular holiday season, maybe you baked over Valentine's Day, right? Or maybe you baked over a different holiday that we've had, and you can kind of see how it went and how it felt. And you can take that information, the data that you have from how you've dealt with those situations, you can make changes now. You can plan in certain breaks. You can decide, you know what, I don't want to bake at all. This year, I need to take a break. I want to be with my family and friends. I'll start back up in like January, right? Or maybe I'm not going to bake for anything except the Christmas time, whatever it is. But just putting up that, acknowledgement of your emotional state from the past and try to come up with a plan so it'll be better this year. Because what we don't do is we don't want to risk an emotional breakdown, because that's going to equal lower quality service for your clients. And that's not what your clients want, right? They want the highest quality service. So how do you need to set it up for yourself so that when you do serve, it's at a high level? Now, some examples of emotional boundaries, if you're not exactly sure what I'm talking about, it's going to be different for everyone, honestly. But there are some things that come to mind for me and for the people that I work with consistently. Some of those emotional boundaries look like a strict schedule of off and on over the holidays. So maybe you are going to do some stuff, but other stuff you're not going to do it. You can choose what that is later, but for now, just understanding I will have a strict schedule of off and on. I'm not going to take things late. I'm not going to put people on the schedule if I have big X's over those days. Those days are mine, and that's how this is going to work, right? So understanding I have permission to do this. It's okay for me to do this. Or maybe you're going to be closed at a certain point, maybe the extended, season, and stay closed. Don't let people sneak in. Don't take orders if you've got something else going on. Stay closed. That's a boundary. Maybe you want to learn how to say no with care and strength, because a no isn't a negative. It's just a letting them know the opportunity is not open for that time. It doesn't mean you don't like the client. It doesn't mean you don't want to work for them. It doesn't mean you don't want to serve them. It just means that opportunity is not available. Maybe it is not making a product that caused you a lot of heartache in the past. For some people I know recently, with some of the recent trends, that has been cocoa bombs. They are just difficult to make in some cases, and there's problems with having them at outside vendor events and things like that. I mean, I can attest to them causing me just a lot of stress. So this year I have already done some planning, and I've come up with a way to still offer them, but in a way that feels good for me, in a process that feels good for me. Clients can take advantage of what I am making, but it's not going to be as intense as it was before. And it's in a way that feels good to me. So that's how I'm going to offer it, right? I've looked at the past and I've thought, okay, that was like crazy. I want to do it because I know that people like it and I'm going to make money, but it can't be the way it was last year, right? Or maybe you decided you want to hire out some help because you know you can't do it alone. That's a really big step for somebody who's kind of likes to control what's going on. Hiring out help is a big deal. So if you want to try it this season, start with a person that you trust, that you know, and that you know will actually show up, pay them well, and get it done. And then lastly, maybe you want to minimize your focus. Maybe you're kind of all over the place. Later at the end of the session, I'm going to tell you how I can help you with this if you want some outside insight. But minimizing your focus can always help you kind of pinpoint where you want to focus your energy, which can lower the chaos of your emotions when you feel like you're not being pulled in a million different directions. So in the end, take care of yourself so you can serve at just the highest level possible. You don't want to give people subpar work. You want it to be at the highest level, and it's what they deserve, but you need to check in with your emotional boundaries first so you can formulate that for them without running on empty all the time. Michelle says, I refuse to make them anymore. Oh, the cocoa bombs. Michelle, they stress me out, and I will find an alternative. Yeah, for sure. Hi, Eliana. Good to see you. Michelle says, oh, she has the same. Okay, she's just posting it again. Yeah, let me know what your alternative is. I'd love to know. So I'm a printmaker. Like that was one of my degrees is printmaking. So I like making things in big batches. And seeing a bunch of them together at one time, it's satisfying for me. It's just switching from baking to chocolate, it's just a different thing. I ended up buying an extra piece of equipment that's really helped, but it like takes over my whole day and my whole kitchen is covered in chocolate and it's just stressful. So I'm gonna do a little different this time where I'm gonna do the tempered chocolate on one day, 1 week. Only the tempered chocolate. And then I'll do the other types of chocolates at another time, like the caramel and the white and the other things that I have that don't have to be tempered really. Doing those on another day. So I can keep everything separate and stop like the mishmashing and all that. So that's how I'm going to approach it this year. But yeah, if you come up with a solution or another thing to take its place, I would love to know what that is. Same way with macarons. Yeah, it is not something I offer. We have 2 really good macaron bakers here on post, and I just let them do their thing because they're really good at it. And I agree, like it's just a different thing to what I normally make. So yeah, for sure. Okay, number 2, we're gonna move on to the second pillar of chaos control, which is prioritizing your personal plans. This might seem like oh, okay, duh, Melissa, but the reason I'm mentioning this is because I'm putting the pillars in a specific order. The first one is emotional boundaries. What can I realistically do here at the highest level where I'm still going to feel good and I can serve? Okay. So thinking just about how is that going to affect what I'm planning? Number 2 is your personal plan. So before you ever sign up for an event, before you tell people that you're going to make 1 billion Christmas baskets, whatever it is, I want you to think about your personal plans first. That might mean calling your family, figuring out what your kids' schedule is, talking to your significant other about their plans, whatever. But I want you to actually do that before you really commit to anything work-wise. So the old saying goes, you can't buy more time. And that is devastating and sad to think about, but it is the truth. So your time here with everyone around you is super important. Every single minute you spend doing something, it means something to someone else, right? So even if you plan to make thousands of dollars over the holiday season, which many of us will because it is a very high sales season, before you decide to spend all your time doing that, first come in and cut out a chunk of time for the events or the people that you want to give the best of yourself to, the untired you, the unstressed you, the happy you. They deserve it at the very least. They deserve some of that time. So you got to cut it out for them first so the other stuff doesn't run them over, because you can make money any day, right? Any day of the year, there's going to be some kind of opportunity sitting around for you to make some money. But the holidays just happen to be kind of like all smashed together. And some of the times when people from all over gather and memories are made, photos are taken, birthdays are celebrated if it's the first time people are getting together, gifts are exchanged, things happen. So you don't want to miss out on your real life, the life that you have, that if baking just disappeared today, you would have this whole life sitting there. You don't want to miss out on it just for baking, because there will always be another customer. There will always be another order. There will always be another recipe to try, right? It's all sitting there for you later. And the baking will always be there as long as you can bake, but the memories won't. So just getting in there and realizing these people and these memories deserve my time first. I'm going to cut their slice of the pie out, and then I can figure out the rest of it later. Okay, so that's number 2. And the number 3, of course, planning products and events. Now this, if you can think about what we've talked about so far, this is where people normally start. They think, what can I offer? What can I get involved in? That's where they start. And if you think about, okay, what about all the other stuff? If they plan that, or even just don't plan it at all, if they just don't consider any of that until after they've planned the products and events, that's how that approach can often cause all the chaos to begin with. So an example would be that you plan what you want to do for work, and then you kind of like make your emotional state and your personal life sort of like smush in and smash in and probably get pushed to the side into everything that you plan for your working. So that's guilt, missed events, sleepless nights, regret. All of that will surely follow, because that other stuff is really your real life. That's really you. And then the working is just like, okay, you're a baker, you work, but everything else we have to check in first. This could also lead to a lot of unrealistic expectations about what you can do and what you can accomplish, because you've ignored the emotional and the family and the friends and everything that happens around the holiday season. And you've done all the work to do planning and not the life to do planning. So that's where the chaos usually, it could be the planning of the actual events and products as well, which we'll touch on in just a second. But a lot of times it's everything else you're trying to shove in, and then you feel bad because you didn't really consider it. So when it comes to this portion of your planning, your products, your events and services, I have a ton of tips. Like I have a whole literal training, a whole session set up inside the Elite program that's been up there, and it can be viewed 24/7. That covers all of, well, not all of it, but a lot of it. And it depends on what you have in mind. Unique bakers have different needs in this area because we just do different things. We live in different places with different types of events. We have different clients, all of that. So there are a ton of tips here. Now the basics are making sure, and I'm not going to go over everything. I just want to give you a few basics to throw out there so you can kind of get in the mindset. The basics are making sure that you aren't spreading yourself too thin across too many events. This can happen easily because everybody and their mom has a fall event. Everybody and their mom has a Christmas event. It just goes on and on and on, right? Like everyone's doing everything at the same time. So there is a full checklist that I offer that I would suggest looking over that asking all of the questions first, getting all the information first so that you can determine which of these events is worth it or not, and then picking the best ones so that when you do show up, you're not spread too thin and it's like you're knocking out of the park every single time. That's what I would prefer you do than trying to go to like a million things to kind of see what's up. You can do the research first, get the information, and usually make a really good determination on, is this going to make sense for me or not beforehand. You also should be considering making products based on a value ladder and an offer ladder versus just whatever. So thinking about, how does this work into my value ladder of what I offer? How does this work into, how can I make these bundles or offers so that I'm helping people move up the scale or down the scale of my business to patron me in different ways? That's how you turn, that's customer retention, right? That's how you turn a past client into a consistent client. And you can still bring in new clients on your value ladder as well, right? But you have to have various offers, usually equaling different value amounts or dollar amounts to help people spend at different levels with you, depending on your clients and the events and the products. And then generally following, if you can, following any hot trends that you like or that work for you, or local favorites, things that are local to your area that everybody loves, to drum up consistent interest in orders. This is just a good way to get people through the door, especially if you're new to the area. If you don't market a lot, that catches people's eyes because we like trends, right? People pay attention to trends. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but I'm telling you that if you can do it in a way that works for you, that will help with the interest on your products. And then if you sell stuff that maybe isn't as well known, a lot of times getting people through the door with the hot trend or the local favorite will also get their eyes on your other products. Okay. Shantae says, I definitely agree with the plan of putting your mental and emotional state first. I find that when I am mentally drained, it often reflects in the way my bakes turn out. Yeah, so 100%. I wish I don't have an Excel sheet, but I wish I could just mark off like, how many times have I burnt a product when I'm tired? It's like a lot, right? Compared to just when I've gotten some sleep and I'm like feeling okay. I'll drop things if I'm tired. So I've like ruined the product. It could have been sold for a couple bucks. Now it's nothing. Definitely, like your body goes, right? Like your emotional, then your physical, it just all kind of connected. So I definitely agree with that. Eliana thinks it's so smart. Oh, thank you. So when it comes to saying no to the chaos because you have permission to do so, your holiday season does not have to be chaotic. You will check in with your emotional needs and be honest with yourself about, this is who I am. This is what I have going on right now. If I'm going to serve at the highest level, what might that be? How much time might that be? How much energy might that be? And then prioritizing your personal events and occasions, because those are the people who deserve the best of you. And those are the people that are going to be there when the baking is gone. So those are some things that you need to think about first. And then lastly, plan the products and the events that will knock it out of the park every time with some good research, some good insight into what these things are. And then hopefully you can do some just big, huge, not scary huge, but what I'm saying is instead of trying to do a million things at once, you're doing the things that really count. And that's going to help with efficiency. And that's going to help with you making income without having to change gears all the time. So this process has been proven with just my own personal experiences, but also mentoring bakers over the years, watching them integrate it and telling me, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I can't believe I used to do it that way. Look at these photos of me and my family this year. I finally got to go to Christmas and not be tired. This is what I created this year and I sold hundreds and hundreds of them. Whatever it is, right? I'm hearing all this response. It's reducing stress. It's increasing efficiency because you're more laser focused on what you need to pay attention to. You're creating more income because you've planned it. So you're marketing, you're doing all the things that you need to focus on without trying to fly by the seat of your pants all the time. And it helps bakers feel more accomplished rather than resentful at the end of the holiday season. It might be hard, it might be tiring, but you have planned it and it's not as chaotic. So you don't feel like I missed out on everything this year. Maybe you had to bake a lot, but you got the other things in that meant like that meant something to you, the emotional state and the family. And so you got to have everything all at once. Now I'm offering a special treat for the monthly challenge this month, which is what I was mentioning. I could help you further with your planning of Q4. And it's inside our elite program. So for any of those who are already in the elite program, you get access to this. I will mention more about it in the group soon. If you aren't already inside, you're welcome to join us and hop in too. We have some openings. You can come in at any level and get to be a part of this particular challenge. We do start this coming Monday. If for some reason you can't get in the next couple of days, I suggest you do so that you can be a part of the live part of the challenge. If not, we have the recording up. So if you have to wait a couple weeks, that's okay too. We're going to have a short 3-day challenge. So 1, 2, 3 short videos. And you'll have a step-by-step guide to planning efficiently and thoughtfully, which is important when we talk about planning for business, as well as a link to a complimentary private meeting. So me and you get to sit down, have a cup of coffee, take a look at your plans, whatever you came up with over those 3 short days, and discuss or tweak or brainstorm for the absolute biggest impact. So I'm just going to look at what you have. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to ask you some questions, maybe get your brain going on, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? How's it going to play out? And then by the end of September, right, you'll do the 3-day challenge and then maybe give me, schedule your call with me in the next couple days after that. You'll have October, November, and December completely locked in, right? You'll have an idea of everything that's going on over those 3 months. You're going to be ready to pump out your bakes with way less stress because you know what's going on and you don't have to think about it anymore. So can you imagine just working and getting things done all the way until 2023 without having to plan anything else, right? Feels good. So I'm looking forward to this one with y'all because it's going to be fun. It's just feels good to me to get things planned out and get you on your way all the way through the end of the year so you just know what to do and you don't have to question anything. So if you want the link to join the elite program, I can send that to you via DM. Just send me a message, say, hey, can I have the link to the program? And I'll send it over. Or you can comment here with like elite link or something similar. I can put it for you, link it for you here. You can click over and just check out what's inside, how does it work, what are the membership options, etc. As always, it is an honor to simplify baking business for you. Not going to say it's easy, but it can be simple because we want you to get out there and share your amazing bakes with your community because you're talented and we want to see that and we want everyone to be able to experience what you have to offer. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions. If you have any, pop them in here. I can check on it later. I have a very full day today. I have meetings, got some custom orders to work on, royal icing cookies for the subscription boxes, and some chocolate chunk cookies for a porch pop-up this weekend. So I may have overextended myself this week, but you better bet I'm still happy, emotional boundaries, and I do have some time to still play with my kids. So that works out. Okay. All right, everyone. I'll see you later. Hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the group or DM me or however you need to contact me. You can email me if you need to. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Bye.